Marvel has unveiled the next directors for their upcoming Avengers movies. For Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, the directors of these movies will be the Russo brothers. They're back. In the past, they had directed Captain America the Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, which is basically an Avengers movie, as well as Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. So they definitely have a lot of experience in this Marvel universe, directing these massive crossover movies. So it feels like the safe pick, but it's understandable. You know, they've done this before. They can probably do it again. Although part of me feels like this is a huge missed opportunity to have some new directors come in, bring some fresh takes and fresh style to the Avengers movies. You know, this is the Multiverse Saga. This is the next era of the MCU. I feel like, again, it's just a missed opportunity to have new people come in and do it instead of just bringing back older people, which I'll talk about more as we go on. But anyway, they're directing Avengers 5 and they're directing Avengers 6, which is called Secret Wars, based on the 2015 Secret Wars comic, which deals with the multiverse, a fitting movie to end the Multiverse Saga. But for something called the Multiverse Saga, very little of these movies actually seem to deal with the multiverse. And it's not like the Infinity Saga, the last 3 phases of the MCU. It's not like every one of those movies had to do with the Infinity Stones, but there was a clear direction there. And even the worst of the worst in the Infinity Saga, you still knew how every movie played a part in the overall story. And I feel like with the Multiverse Saga, it does not have that sense of direction at all. There are so many projects that have so much setup for things that still have yet to be paid off. And look, there's time, you know, between now and Secret Wars, including the Secret Wars movie, to deliver the payoff for a lot of these things, but there are so many loose threads across all these movies and shows. At the end of Shang-Chi, you know, the rings sent a signal to another world. We don't know what happened with that. Ms. Marvel, she's a mutant. That's a big thing. Where are all the other mutants, though? That's a big revelation that has had nothing to do with anything. Compare this to where we're at with, like, the Infinity Saga, right? Captain America had a whole trilogy, Iron Man had a whole trilogy, Thor had a whole trilogy. They had entire stories within this saga. And so far, the Multiverse Saga feels like, let's introduce as many things as possible, and then we'll maybe see him once, and then never again. I mean, like, the Hulk has a son now, and there's been no mention of that since. Part of the reason why the MCU feels so bloated is because of Disney+. Looking back on it, Disney+ actually hurt the Marvel Cinematic Universe a lot, and that's because of the shows. The thing about these Disney+ MCU shows is that they are in a total lose-lose situation, because they have to be shows that exist on their own, while also pushing the franchise forward, which is a pretty hard thing to balance, while not pushing it forward too much because it's exclusive to Disney+, and they can't expect all the viewers, all the general audience, to get the subscription and watch the show. Basically, what you end up with are these shows that can never live up to their full potential by design. And I think the most egregious example would be the Secret Invasion show, a comic storyline that impacted the entire Marvel universe, was just relegated to a one-off side mission with Nick Fury and a bunch of other characters who play no role in anything. That's enough rambling about Disney+. Let's get back to these Avengers movies and what was revealed about them. So, Avengers 5 was originally titled The Kang Dynasty, but it has been retitled. And Kang, if not the Kang storyline, if it's not completely abandoned, has been pushed to the sideline. And, man, I just gotta say, Marvel really fumbled Kang. And not just because of the actor. They fumbled Kang all the way back since Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame established that time travel has no consequences in the MCU. It just creates another universe. So it's very interesting that they decided to take Kang the Conqueror, a time-traveling villain, and make him the main villain of a franchise where time travel doesn't mean anything. Now look, Kang also has some roots in the multiverse. There's been different versions of Kang from other universes before. But what made Kang an interesting villain in Marvel Comics is that he had this non-linear battle throughout his life against the Marvel Universe. You know, he might fight the Avengers as an adult at some point in time, and then a few years later, he'll show up again, but it's him at a younger point. And it's just this whole interesting time travel battle against the entire Marvel Universe. But you don't get that because time travel doesn't mean anything in the MCU. Instead, they just fight different versions of Kang. And I gotta say, fighting the same guy throughout different points in his life is far more interesting than fighting a bunch of random guys who all happen to look the same. So it's not just that they ruined the whole time travel thing that made Kang interesting to begin with. They decided to have Kang the Conqueror, the main version of Kang, be the big bad guy in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The main version of your main villain in this entire cinematic universe got beat by ants. That would be like Thanos showing up in Captain America the Winter Soldier as the main villain, and he got beaten because he got hit by a car. They already took away what made Kang interesting because of time travel. They already made him a complete joke because he was beaten by ants. Then the actor got in trouble behind, outside of the movies, some domestic disputes and whatnot. And instead of just recasting the character, which would be the easiest thing to do because it's the multiverse, just say, oh, this version of him looks different. Now, I get it, it could be a contractual thing, but they decided to just more or less abandon the storyline. They're just like, whatever, we don't care, we're changing directions. Which is even worse, because now you have all this set up for something that's not going to really have any payoff. So if not Kang, who? Who is the big bad guy of Avengers 5? Well, Avengers 5 is now titled Avengers Doomsday. The main villain of Avengers 5 will be Doctor Doom. And that's really cool, because I love Doctor Doom. He's the Marvel villain. He's the inspiration for Darth Vader. So, who's playing Doctor Doom in the MCU? Well, Robert Downey Jr. The guy who played Iron Man for 10 years is now back to play the bad guy. This is just such a baffling choice, and I don't get it. That would be, to use another Star Wars reference, that would be like the next Star Wars movie having Mark Hamill play the bad guy. Like, sure, he could do it, but should he do it if he was the main character? I just don't see a way you can spin this where Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom is a good thing. On one hand, he could be playing an evil version of Iron Man who became Doctor Doom, which sucks because we're once again making everything about Iron Man and ruining Doctor Doom to just be a one-off evil Iron Man variant. Like, who cares? We don't need Iron Man again, I'm sorry. Or he's playing Victor Von Doom, the character we know from the comics, which is still incredibly distracting because he looks just like the guy who played Iron Man for 10 years. And it'll be even more distracting to the general audience who will just be like, wait, so Iron Man's a bad guy now? What's going on? Even if they did the thing from the comics where Doctor Doom wears a mask the whole time, and even if you see him, he's still scarred. And they make no mention of the fact that he is played by the same actor. It's simply the same actor playing a different character. The way they announced it makes it very clear this is a desperate move by Marvel to do some stunt casting, to generate some hype, to get people talking about it, to get people to do videos like I'm doing right now. It is just a baffling choice to me that on paper sounds awful. Now, in execution, could it be good? Yes. I hope it's good. I hope he does a good job as Doctor Doom. I hope this new Avengers movie is good, but it just doesn't sound good to me. And I think part of it is this reliance that the MCU has on older actors and older things to propel the franchise forward. Now look, it's the Multiverse Saga. It's the perfect opportunity to bring back older characters, older cast members. But once that's all said and done, the MCU isn't left with anything new. As I've already said, it doesn't have the same sense of a clear direction that the Infinity Saga had. It doesn't have any strong lead characters comparable to Iron Man and Captain America. All it seems to be doing is bringing back older people, but it's not laying a foundation to build off of. It's just, I don't know what it is. Once the nostalgia is done, are they just going to do a bunch of X-Men movies after? Like, I don't get it. That's what I wanted to talk about with this video. A lot of different things, a lot of different thoughts about the MCU, about some weird casting choices, but I'm not doing this to hate. I hope this all works out and it's great. I just wanted to share my thoughts, and I want you guys to share your thoughts with me. Do you agree with me on these different topics? Do you have your own thoughts? I hope you guys have some thoughts on this video. Want to talk about them with me. Enjoy yourselves and take care.